everybody. Just thought I'd drop in here with a quick episode. Yeah, so we're going to do an episode similar to my Daredevil Vapora episode, where I experienced a comic live and discussed it while I was reading it. We're going to do the same thing here. I've been gravitating towards these promotional giveaway comics. I randomly found one that I didn't know existed a few nights ago and thought it would be a great candidate to go ahead and do another episode. So this is a flip book. If you're not familiar with what a concept of a flip book is in regards to comics, this is like a comic that has two comics in it. So on one side, you'll have a cover of whatever that issue is going to be. It lasts about halfway. And then on the other side, if you flip the book over, you'll have another cover featuring another character. This is a flip book that has a one-shot of Spider-Man. And on the other side of it, we have a comic that is titled The Exterminator, No Job Too Big. And this was in promotion with Orkin. So we have a Spider-Man issue on one side, and then when you flip it over, you have an Orkin issue on the other side, a comic about an Orkin Exterminator. I talk about the Spider-Man issue first, which is titled The Bug Stops Here. It is written by David Michelini, penciled by Pete Garcia, inked by Al Vey, colors by Mike Martz, and lettered by Eric Loyola. So this issue drops in 1994. It's a $1.75 value. It does not have a month listed on when it got dropped. We at least know the year, which is 1994. Comicbookrealm.com has this listed as an Orkin Pest Control promotional giveaway, and the current value is $20. That's right. Don't know how much stock you want to put in that, but I have never seen it before, so I don't know if it's something that is definitely rare. I don't know how much money Orkin's going to put into having a comic book printed off. In the 90s, there was a marketing campaign, we'll call it. Orkin goes into marketing this exterminator. You're like, yeah, okay, it's Orkin. Yeah, of course, it's going to be an exterminator. No, you got to picture like this RoboCop / mech warrior looking suit of armor that crashes through this door. I say crashes. It busts open this door, and he's got a laser sight for an eye, and his arm can turn into a gun, and he can find any insects and eliminate them or exterminate them. So yeah, I'm putting this commercial in there for sure.
They nest unseen inside your walls. The damage could cost thousands, but carpenter ants can be stopped by the Exterminator, the Orkin Man. The Exterminator wipes out carpenter ants with the awesome power of his advanced pest control technology. He destroys carpenter ants and their nests and makes sure they never return. Guaranteed. Call the Exterminator at 1-800-800-ORKIN. One call destroys them all.
So yeah, we have this commercial that definitely looked pretty high tech for back in the mid 90s. The one I just watched was from 95 or 96, and this comic dropped in 94. So looking back on it now, remember I've read the issue, I've experienced it. I didn't do the research that I'm doing here in post edit. I can see where the concept's coming from. I'm curious as to what got dropped first, the commercials for the Orkin Exterminator mech guy, or are we talking about this comic? And then they kind of grab that and put that in the commercials. Most likely the commercials dropped first, because he does look cool. When you watch this commercial, he definitely deserves to be in a Marvel comic just by his look alone. The bug stops here with Spider-Man. I already gave the creative team on that. Like I said, dropped in 94. And on the flip side is the Orkin Exterminator story, and it is titled No Job Too Big. It's written by Jim Kruger, penciled by Pete Garcia, inks by Steve Moncuse, letters by Steve Dutro, and colors by Joe Capozzacco. So there's your creative team for No Job Too Big. Now, there's not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to the Orkin Exterminator comic. You can hear me experience that here in a few. I do want to talk a little bit real quick about the bug stops here, because it's a Spider-Man comic. It's not like Spider-Man and the Orkin Exterminator are teaming up together to battle things. It's Orkin Exterminator gets a standalone story. Spider-Man gets a standalone story. How does this tie into bugs, you're wondering? Like Spider-Man, okay, I kind of get that. But Spider-Man is fighting a villain called Humbug, okay? I've heard of Humbug before, but didn't know anything about him. So did a little research. So now we can all be in the know of who Humbug is. Humbug's alter ego is Buck Mitty. and he was created by David Michelini and Mark Silvestri. He is a senior entomology professor for Empire State University, and I should say former senior entomology professor because his funding gets cut. Because he has devoted his life to understanding insects, he wants to continue that research. And the only way that he knows to do that is to turn to a life of crime. He starts committing these robberies, or trying to commit these robberies. The way that he used it, and as a matter of fact, you can see on the cover of this issue, he's got a bunch of like tape players strapped to him. So imagine like, I don't know, a guy with like 20 Walkmans, I guess, all strapped to his body. It's like the Batman utility belt, but it's like 3 or 4 of them, and they're all filled with these tape players. So he uses these tape players to amplify sounds of insects with some kind of technology in order to use that sound as a weapon. Okay, whether it is to destroy something or to sonically attack somebody, that's his power set at this time. I do want to kind of give a bit of a history of Humbug prior to us getting into this 1994 issue. According to MarvelFandom.com, he has some major appearances, first being Web of Spider-Man number 19 in 1986. His next appearance is in Amazing Spider-Man 306, 1988. If you're wondering what that cover is actually to that comic, it's the Action Comics number 1 homage with Spider-Man picking up a police car. So Humbug appears in that story, and I think it even says it right there on the cover, Humbug's Returned or something like that. He also gets mentioned in the Marvel Year in Review, Volume 1, Number 4, at the end of 1992, and then that's it. 2 years later is when this comic book happens. And then after this issue, Humbug really isn't a major player until 2000 when he has a run-in with Deadpool in Volume 3, Issue number 42. And then he's off the board again until Daughters of the Dragon, Volume 1, Number 1 in 2006, and he shows up in the first 4 issues of that. And then also he's in 2006's Heroes for Hire second volume. He is in the first 15 issues of Heroes for Hire, and then in issue 15, apparently he dies. So that's it. Humbug, born in 1986, dies in 2007. So there you go. There's your little history on Humbug. You could probably go out and collect all of the issues that this villain was mentioned / appeared in. Doesn't look like it's that hard of a find. I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and go back to when I was experiencing the Bug Stops here. I've learned a lot since then, so here we go. That synopsis is coming up, but first let me talk about Amazon Music. If you're looking for a good platform that can fill those musical needs, Amazon Music has you covered. If you head to getamazonmusic.com/W2M Network, you can get a free 30-day trial where you can check out over 70 million songs. That's getamazonmusic.com/W2M Network for that free 30-day trial. Okay, so this is going to be one of those just kind of free-form flow of thought, maybe, I don't know. But here it is, as I experience the 1994 one-shot Spider-Man Bug Stops Here. So we're opening up the Museum of Natural History, where Spider-Man is avoiding a blast, some kind of explosion at this museum, and he's kind of shielding a young lady and a kid from this explosion. So there's this like ancient scarab in this museum, and a villain by the name of Humbug has showed up to... Is he trying to steal it? Okay, so far he's listed... This Humbug guy has come in here and he's name dropped 2 insects. One was the Madagascar cockroach, and the next one is the carpenter bee, and that's only like the first page and 2 panels. Amplified insect sounds, apparently, that Humbug has. His name's Buck Mitty. That's apparently his real name. Buck Mitty. What an interesting name. So Peter's going back to change into, well, basically take his coat off because he's got his Spider-Man suit underneath his clothing. You know, what's funny is some of these comics, a lot of time there's like inner monologue that is just dialogue. Like, we got Humbug here who's going around talking. There's nobody there. Nobody is in the room. He's just talking to himself. Ah, a beetle made of precious gems, almost as beautiful as the real thing. There's nobody there, and he's talking. These aren't thought bubbles. It's funny. So Humbug's there for the scarab. He's going to sell it looks like, because he got fired. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Funding was cut. He was the entomology professor at Empire State University. And because funding got cut, he's decided he's going to steal this scarab and, I guess, sell it to finance it. Finance his research. Okay. Oh, Humbug hates spiders, apparently. Spider-Man is taking the fight to a deserted part of the museum so that no exhibits get damaged. Spider-Man encases him in webbing, and Humbug he's able to break free because of the tremendous peal of Acida domesticus, the house cricket. Oh, here he goes again. So Spider-Man is using a big suit of armor, and Humbug has hit him with an amplified version of the wine of the Oriental rat flea, which has melted, or at least destroyed this suit. Okay, what just happened? So Spider-Man finds this corner. He says, he swings over. He's trying to figure out a way to get a handle on the situation. He gets over into this one spot of the museum. Humbug comes walking in. Mind you, Spider-Man's spider sense went off. He's trying to figure out why it went off, so he's kind of clinging to the walls. And then he knows why. So when Humbug strolls in, he throws the scarab down to him and says, here you go. Humbug goes to grab the scarab, and then where he walked is where Spider-Man's spider sense went off. Oh, it was a weakened part of the floor. And Humbug falls down, and gravity wins the day. Spider-Man grabs the scarab and says, you're going to a nice big building with bars on the windows. For about 3 to 5, I'd guess, with good behavior. I have to admit, though, you were right about one thing sometimes. Insects are our friends. I don't remember him saying that, but I guess maybe he did. So, okay. There's a big sign that says, floor unsafe, termite damage. Now, there is a flip part of this comic, and I almost don't even want to try and read this, but we're going to anyway, because that's the whole point of this gig. The flip side of this comic is Orkin Exterminator. No job too big, it says on the cover. We get a real interesting look at this Orkin man who is in this cyborg suit of armor almost. And I assume he's going to exterminate something. That's what our next story is. No job too big. Okay, is that dude's name? There's no way that's that dude's name. Okay, I guess it is. There I was. Dek Barate. Dek. Oh boy. I'm sorry. If there's somebody out there named Dek, that's the first time. I mean, it's like spelled like Deck. D-E-C-K. He is your average multi-talented Orkin man. Attacked by Batella germanica. Okay, it looks like a bunch of very large insects and rodents. Oh, he's shrunk down. So he's got like Ant-Man powers? Yeah, he says he's being threatened by a German cockroach. That's what Batella germanica is, right? Oh, here we go. We get the backstory as to how in the world he's a shrunken down dude. Now, this is weird. I don't know if this comic is actually showing something that actually happens. So this family is called the Orkin Man in because there's a bunch of food that's been laying around that's been eaten or somewhat partially eaten. But it also says that the food has been mummified. He says Middle Eastern tastes, mummified wastes. I have my suspicions the problem may be bigger than I thought. Okay. Now, I haven't even looked at the end of this, but I have this suspicion that it's some kind of crazy situation where there's a supervillain that's shrunken himself down too, and he's eating like this family's food. Okay, well, let's find out here. So Orkin Man dons his big Orkin mech suit. Oh, wow. So he can like summon this, as in all of a sudden he just transforms into it. Okay. All right. So the Orkin Man finds a crack in the wall and he's going to head into the crack. Oh, he knows it. He knows who did this. Monomorium feronis. Or I'm sure we're going to get the common lay term here in just a minute. Uh-oh, this looks like termites. Nope. Pharaoh ants. Okay. Why would I have to look this up? Let's just stop here and look this up. A pharaoh ant? I'm certain that they wouldn't just make this up for this because we've got to pull this off as a legitimate thing. Pharaoh ants. Hey, second Google link, aside from the Wikipedia, which I think is the first one. No, I'm sorry. The first one is intnemdepartment.ufl.edu. And then our second link is Pharaoh ants, Orkin. They have light yellow bodies with red and black markings on the abdomen. Oh, they eat foods of all types, but especially sweets. In controlling Pharaoh ants, it is often advisable to seek professional help. Yeah, I'm sure that the Orkin website is not going to tell you how to take care of it yourself. They are going to want your business. All right, let's take a look and see what else happens with the Orkin man here. All right, Orkin man, he's in the walls. There's like pyramids of food. What is this dude doing? Okay. Oh, so Pharaoh ants apparently like the heat. So he's gone close to what he put is a wall heater. Now, I feel like we may be stretching the bounds of reality here. He went to work setting a series of Orkin Technoid. Boy, let me make sure that says Technoid. That says Technoid. Orkin Technoid time expiration capsules on the largest of the throbbing Pharaoh ant nests. Ooh, throbbing nests. So it looks like he's setting like dynamite almost, but they're apparently something different. So he's setting these time capsules on all these little egg nests. Oh boy. So he gets distracted by the Orkin man looks out through another crack in the wall, sees this beautiful sunset, gets distracted, and then realizes, oh crap, when it becomes night, more insects come out. He turns around and he's surrounded by German cockroaches, ants, just all sorts of creepy crawlies. Oh, what the heck that is. Looks like a centipede of some sort. Millipedes, German cockroaches, fleas, rats, each pest controlled and enslaved by the will of the Pharaoh ants. Okay, interesting. Oh boy, this is almost at the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze level of puns here. You pests are beginning to tick me off. What? Oh, man, some of these jokes. Don't take this the wrong way, but you remind me of a Studebaker I used to own. Extinct. Okay, so he's trying to figure out a way to get out of there. These devices are going to go off soon, as we're reminded through each panel of tick, 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 as they count down and they're about to explode. Oh, and this fly shows up, and it's going to attack him, and his response is, prepare to fry, fly. Oh, no. As he is about to be attacked by this fly, I don't know how this battle would go down. He's out of bullets or something. He can't fire his weapon, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a spider saves the day, capturing the fly. Which, do spiders spit their webs out of their mouth? Or spiders don't do that. This is stuff I gotta look up now. Not spider in mouth, that's nasty. Do spiders spin webs out of their mouth? At the back of the spider's body, there are 3 pairs of glands, each with a tube. As the spider moves away from the object, this draws out the sticky liquid and then it hardens in the air. And this comic, Orkin Man comic, has it appear as if the spider is spitting the web to catch this fly. Spitting the web. Anyway, it's trying to teach us that, all insects have their place in this world. So Orkin Man gets through the crack in the wall, out to the living room again in his little miniature self, and boom, sheds the mech suit, becomes the Orkin Man again. Boy, I'm curious as to how expensive. What is the bill going to look like for these people? Seems like an awful lot of expensive technology went into eliminating this pest threat. Oh, wow. Okay. Yep. Like I said before, keeping your home free of pests is no small task. Wow. Okay, so that is The Bug Stops Here and No Job Too Big, double-sided one-shot from 1994. All right. I think we'll stop right here. Thanks for joining us. Hey, it's plug time, and you all know what that means. This would be a good time to plug the sponsor of the W2M network, and that is Grammarly. For you, the listeners of Source Material, Grammarly is offering a free download of the Grammarly software. Grammarly's AI-powered products help people communicate more effectively. Grammarly helps you write mistake-free on Gmail, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and nearly anywhere else you write on the web. Grammarly corrects hundreds of grammar, punctuation, and spelling mistakes while also catching contextual errors, improving your vocabulary, and suggesting style improvements. To download Grammarly today, go to getgrammarly.com/W2M-network. Again, that's getgrammarly.com/W2M-network to download Grammarly for free. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure to give that Radulich in Broadcasting Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts we have to offer. We are at home on Spreaker, but you can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and recently we have hit the air on Spotify. Find your favorite podcast platform and type in RADULICH to subscribe for some great content. If you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word, and as always, we appreciate any feedback and look forward to entertaining you again soon.